in the break, and there was one set which we may look at when we get there, but let's get there first. So we're on page 79.
Yes, so the minutes of the Māori Committee meeting of the 27th of August.
Mr Chairman, page 80, and I need some guidance from Mr Mohi on this. I have an idea that he did take the liberty of actually appointing me as a short-term replacement on that. Yes.
Yep.
Correct. Okay, for accuracy then, 80, 81, 80, 81, 82, 83.
Mr Chair.
Very hard when not too many people were there, is it really? But
Mr
Councillor
Chair,
Ramswell.
82, page 82, number 10. Third verbal update, Coastal Water Science Team. Third paragraph, where Mr Gilmer says that water quality in the region's rivers was excellent and safe for swimming, and although agricultural runoff was the main issue, exceedances mainly occurred after heavy rain events. I think that's sort of an unqualified statement that needs to be tempered a little bit, because the water quality is variable depending on the conditions.
Point of order, Mr Chairman. It's not our opinion, it's what was said.
That's what was said.
Well, that's not exactly what I heard, Mr Chair.
Any other points of sorry, Councillor? Any other points of accuracy? Someone happy to move? Seconder, Councillor Gilbertson. Put that motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Regional Transport Committee.
Page 85.
Page 85. Very hard for us to go through these for accuracy when there was only one or two people there. So, what's your view? You're happy to move? Well, no, we're seconding. Councillor Scott's seconding. Thank you. That's accurate in your mind. Thank you. I'll put that motion then. All those in favour, please say aye. Corporate and Strategic Committee for accuracy. Page 94, page 95, 96, 97, page 98,
Chairman.
99. Councillor Douglas.
Mr Chairman, we've already to some extent canvassed this question for accuracy. There was a lot of discussion about the date for that the Trust could usefully use this money by, and I believe the recommendation 3, or it's resolution 3, as it later transferred into, should read, notes that in the event that conditions set out in 2.1 and 2.2 above cannot be met, and the new words, or the words that should have been there or to this extent, by the construction start date of 1/10/2013 as advised by the Trust, I say again, by the construction start date of 1/10/2013 as advised by the Trust, and goes on, the Council will consider its level of financial commitment, because that was the intention. And so I'm seeking that the minutes be amended to that extent.
I'm going to raise a point of order, Mr Chairman. However much intention was there, the minute actually has to represent what was approved on the day.
It does.
Mr Chairman.
And perhaps we need to have a look through Council at a further resolution qualifying that if the person who moved it felt that he hadn't adequately. But as a point of order, the minute itself cannot be altered.
Mr Chairman, speaking to the point of order only, I perfectly understand Councillor Scott's approach to that. We are dealing with the minutes, which are written by a person who's not one of the councillors by definition, and therefore this was the only time that we've actually seen them in this form.
I've just asked our Minute Secretary if it's not correct, if it's not a correct reflection it can be added. So you moved it at the time. You happy to second that, Councillor Gilbertson? Thank you. So that addition, we've got that addition. And
alterations. I'm sorry, I missed it at the start. I'm recorded on the front page of being in attendance at the meeting. I was actually away that day. My apology is recorded, but I'm also recorded on the front page as being in attendance. And so is Councillor Curtin.
incredibly talented.
Yes, well, we're two of us incredibly talented, Mr. Chairman. We can
Okay,
actually
so
be in
we
two
can-
places at once, which is a...
So we can tidy that up quite simply. Okay. Okay, I'll put that motion, then all those in favour... Oh, sorry, Councillor Dick.
Sorry.
You
Leanne, did these resolutions go up on the board? Can you recall from at the meeting? Because I actually think that number 3 is not entirely correct as to intention, but on the other hand, if that was on the board and we voted on it,
I don't remember it being on the board.
No, there weren't.
The presentation from the Sports Trust was actually on the...
yeah. The point that I'd make in regard to 3, I agree with Councillor Douglas. Somewhere or another, even if it's by a separate resolution, we need to record that cut-off date. But 3 says, notes that in the event that the conditions set out in 2.1, 2.2 cannot be met, the Council will consider its level of financial contribution to a local turf at a future date. Now, the issue is not the level of contribution, it's whether there is any contribution at all, because as was noted in the meeting...
that's what it says, though, really.
I know.
It might be zero.
I'm trying to get at is whether... The Minute Secretary has indicated that there wasn't something in hard copy for us to vote on. But going back to my point, the point was made at the meeting that if there was to be a future consideration of contribution to a local facility, the Council would actually have to first change its policy, because a local facility is the responsibility of territorial authorities and doesn't meet the criteria of being of regional significance. So I believe it would far better represent the deliberation of the day if it says cannot be met. The Council may consider a financial contribution to a local turf at a future date, subject to a change in Council policy.
That was this. And if you could help us with that, this was written in the paper, correct?
Perhaps, Mr. Chairman, I can
It's the
answer
addition that wasn't added.
Yeah. These are the numbers 2, 2.1, 2.2 and 3 were the recommendations from the officer's report,
Okay.
verbatim, and that's what was moved and passed.
And I fully endorse and understand your point here, Councillor, but ultimately it will come. There could be a whole lot of conditions, etc., which come back with a zero financial contribution by the new council, if that's where it ends up.
All right, well, I have to accept that as it stands, but for a future council, it will have to seriously consider any suggestion at all that it gets into the funding of local facilities out of that fund.
Absolutely. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Yes, it was. Oh, with the addition.
Mr. Chair, come back to question again, the understanding orders, that a resolution, the suggestion was it was wrongly captured, and yet we now hear that there was a written format for that. That was moved and seconded. Therefore, I have to question understanding orders. Was it wrongly written, or is the intention to modify it? Because I don't believe understanding orders you can modify a previous resolution. It has to be actually dealt with with a new resolution.
That's your understanding, but I have asked the Minute Secretary to give me some advice on that.
It can only be changed.
which it has been considered incorrect. It's been moved and seconded. People can vote against it.
I'm sorry. Speaking to the standing orders on this, the suggestion was that the wording was already in front of us, and therefore, unless that was altered and wrongly captured, then the minute is not incorrect.
The mover and the seconder were pursuing this, so perhaps if we go back to the mover, your view on that?
Mr. Chairman, I agree, but what was the date of this now? At the time, I took the staff resolution and moved it, and I can't recall, but I saying specifically whether the date should be included as such. But I know in the discussion that came up endlessly, and that was the intention.
Just give us a moment here, please. We get a ruling on this by someone who lives in this space. I think, order please everyone, I think we've got a solution to this. After quite a in-depth discussion here, it is decided that Councillor Scott does make a valid point. It can't be amended there, but we still have to go back to the resolutions of the paper itself, and we can add a resolution to the paper itself, so that will cover it.
Just in in the motion to adopt the minutes, all you need to do is add to it that
That's right.
Council notes that the deadline date for meeting the conditions is the 30th of September.
And that covers it. So everyone's happy with that? So mover and seconder, are you happy to move the minutes as presented? No, not as amended. There's no amendment in the minutes.
The only amendment
There
was
is
who was present.
there will whoever moves the paper's resolutions, which are at the beginning of the paper, will note in that resolution if someone so wishes to do that. So moved and seconded. I'll put that motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried.
Just please, Mr. Chairman,
Matters arising?
avoid
No matters arising.
mistake.
Confirmation of minutes.
The discussion will be captured in the resolutions in the paper that precedes these minutes. So where are we up to now?
The final one is on page 101, the Regional Planning Committee.
Regional Planning Committee.
Spelling correction, Mr. Chairman. On page 105, Council Planning Agreement between the Regional and the TARS had better be TAs. We might say thank you very much to them for a lot of things, but they're not the Tartars.
So that's the second bullet point in the top of page 105.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. The previous item, where are you going to capture that date?
Well, there was a set of resolutions at the beginning of this paper, which we
I
haven't
see.
dealt with
On
yet.
page 59.
Okay.
Okay.
And with that correction, Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to move.
Point of order, Mr. Chair. Could
Yes.
it just be noted for the record that in the previous Corporate and Strategic Committee meeting there was an item on cadmium, as I referred to earlier this morning?
Well, it's in the minute.
No, it's not.
Thank you.
Page
Okay.
95.
Yeah, it is in the minute. Thank you. Right. So you're happy to move, Councillor?
I've moved.
You're happy to move. We have a seconder for that set of minutes. Councillor McGregor, put that motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Right. Let's go back to page